line. Lleyton, head stance. Just flip in the air, flip the foot in the air. Yeah, like this. Voila.
Actually, it was a bit
The stance. You serve. Do you please want to have a picture with the... Just a second. Oh.
He's not to be taken lightly, that's for sure.
Play. $15 love. Oops.
Well, that winner of Gilles Simon is a real warning bell, isn't it? Because
15 all.
Lleyton plays a similar sort of game to Simon. Flat ball and waits for his chances. Simon likes to manoeuvre it around and wear his opponents out a little.
$30-15.
You mentioned earlier the dad of Marius plays rugby. The mother was also a national handball player, so an athletic family, obviously.
Collect. Second service.
Yeah, you mentioned, Todd, how Lleyton is not
30 all.
that dissimilar from Simon in style, but I think Lleyton returns a lot better than Simon. Simon likes to get into the rallies, but I think Lleyton's quicker on the return, and I think that will work in his favour here against the big server, Copil.
A couple of chances to get a decent pass late in there and just didn't quite centre the ball.
40-30.
This one here he had time. Better on the forehand pass there. I don't think, Jeff, that Lleyton will be too upset with the tactics here of Copil because he loves a target. It's the sort of opponent that he likes to face up against as long as he can get his racket on the returner serve.
Advantage Hewitt.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and of course that forces the opponent to go for more and more on serve, and I think already Copil showing us there that, oh, this fella returns pretty well. I better go for a bit more on my serve, and brings the double fault.
Deuce.
Tall man, big leg drive, 190 centimetres, 6'3".
Advantage Copil. Deuce.
Long opening game, third deuce already, and setting a tone quite quickly, isn't it, for this match? Often it takes 3 or 4 games before you get a feel of what the strategies might be, but this is already unfolded here in the opening game.
.225 kilometres an hour. That serve is quick, and Hewitt did well to make the return, but an equally impressive backhand it was from Copil. Look at that leg drive. Really gets up to the ball.
Eventually, Copil holds and leads 1-love first set.
First game. Lleyton Hewitt to set.
When you get to hear Marius Copil talk, he sounds young, but he's an old-looking character on court. Only 23 years of age.
Lawful team.
Yeah, speaking English. Clearly he speaks Romanian, also speaks German, Spanish and Italian. Not the same leg drive from Hewitt as his opponent has, so he doesn't quite get the same racket head speed. Legs always play a major role in your ability to generate power, energy. It's impressive, not just the stroke, but the mobility as well. Out of position, recovers quickly, resets himself, and bang, 154-kilometre-an-hour winner. Impressive. Said he might be nervous at the outset, but seems to have shaken it off very quickly.
Really hard shot, that one, for a single-hander to be able to step in and take it on the rise and time the ball. And quite often you do what Copil has done here. You just catch it a little late, inside out, and you push it wide. I know all about that one, Jeff, and I think you do too.
Yeah, it's a tough shot, particularly when it gets up high.
And that's why I played the forehand court on the doubles, because I could always hit the inside out late as I want and go cross court.
And make yourself look good. Well, it's impressive from Copil here, though. His mobility's been good, his power's on display, and got himself a break point.
A small issue for Lleyton I can see coming up in this match is whether just to remain patient, keep the ball moving around, or take a few more risks. Because against his opponent today, you can see this is sort of an unforced error, but he also has the ability to hit a screamer, and you're not quite sure. That can put you under a little stress.
Absolutely, and that's where it's difficult when you don't have historical information on a player. Hewitt is not certain exactly what to expect from his opponent. He doesn't have a record as such to speak of. He's played primarily in challenges, so it's a bit of a grey area.
Game, Hewitt.
So Hewitt holds, sorry, Jeff, and levels at 1-1.
One game on. Left. Left.
Dangerous ball striking.
Yeah, no question about it. And I'm impressed with his footwork. He gets into the position quickly, little steps, and is positioned to take that last forehand right on the top of the bounce.
A much better service game from the Romanian. It's on serve in the first. He leads 2-1.
Copil leads by 2 games to 1. Ladies and gentlemen, take your seats quickly, please. Thank you. Time. Love.
It's quarterfinals of the Brisbane International, the men's singles. Lleyton Hewitt, Marius Copil, the winner to take on Kei Nishikori in the semis.
Some serious weight of shot off the ground from Copil, and he just hurried Hewitt there. one-handed backhand reminds me a bit of
15,
Ljubicic. He's working with a former tour player who's working with Raonic now, but it's a pretty good one-handed backhand. Nice takeaway, big rotation of the shoulder, gets over the top of the ball.
All.
That was the first serve there. Just going to keep an eye on that one with Lleyton because he's missing quite a few out to the backhand. He throws the ball toss a long way into the court and doesn't give himself any opportunity to get leverage and any height over the net. Oh, well, that is an awesome shot. We mentioned how difficult it is to play that ball.
30-40.
Well, again, I mentioned Ljubicic because this is something Ljubicic did pretty well. He had a very good backhand, former top 10 player. And, that reminded me of it, so trouble.
Good shot here of the ball toss and the position. And there's the break. So Copil leads 3-1 first set.
Copil leads by 3 games to 1.
Jeff, I think really important for Lleyton to realise he's got to start taking some chances and some forcing play, because if he's content to just sort of put the ball around and give Copil time to hit 2, 3, 4 shots and then set up for the big one, it's going to be difficult for him.
All.
Well, at this stage, Hewitt is certainly just a little edgy, talking to himself and towards the boxes. I think he realises all of a sudden that Copil's got some serious weapons. And I agree with you, Todd. I think Hewitt is going to have to recognise that fact and realise that he can't play not to lose here. He's going to have to play to win. Great return off a big serve, 220 km/h serve wide to the backhand, and Hewitt's timed it to perfection and came back and just hurried Copil a little.
Well, he had a break point. Lleyton did in the opening service game of Marius Copil. Up this same end, crucial that he gets it back here. Tries to get this first set back on serve. 2 Copil.
Lleyton Hewitt. Copil leads by 3 games to 2. Please, thank you. Time. Thank you.
Lleyton Hewitt serving, getting things back on serve. 2-3, first set. There was a fairly aggressive reaction to securing that break from Lleyton. I think that was far up, Jeff.
Yes, he likes the supporters to be as animated as he is. He loves the fight. He loves the contest. Which is one of the many reasons that he's been such a great Davis Cup player. He loves the environment, almost the us versus them environment.
It's what he needed, a love game, and it's 3-all in the opening set.
Looking at the outfit of Copil there at the outset, I'm not sure if our viewers were noticing as well, but it's pretty colourful and 33 degrees, a little cooler now than it was earlier, 37 degrees. But, yeah, I was talking about the outfit of Copil, the red, the yellow and the blue, and I was a bit dismayed until I realised it's the colours of Romania. They are the colours of the Romanian flag, red, yellow and blue. So wearing his heart sort of on his sleeve.
Oh, good job, Jeff, picking that up.
15-all.
Gee, that ball jumped.
Yeah.
That got almost over Hewitt's head. He wasn't too deep in the court.
30-15. $40-15. Wait, please.
And big serve. Fourth ace for Copil, and he leads 4-3 in the first set.
Copil leads by 4 games to 3. Time. Let's. Left.
And that looks like a good place to hit that second serve, the jamming one on the backhand.
Left.
Wonder physically how Copil prepared for this first week of the new year. He's had quite a lot of tennis. He came through qualifying, so had to win 3 matches in the qualies, and they were good wins too. Beat Timo Dubaka, James Ward, and Alex Kuznetsov.
Left.
So, Jeff, if you're in a normal tournament, you'd actually be in the final playing this match.
Yeah, you're quite right. I mean, it's the beginning of the season, and he's already had that sort of tennis under his belt. But he looks fit. He looks anything but fatigued, and he's up for this encounter.
Yes, perfect point from Hewitt. Comfortable service game, and it's 4-all.
Lleyton Hewitt. 4 games on. Thank you. Love.
We're starting to take the attack up to his opponent at the moment, Hewitt, which is what we were suggesting he needed to do. Didn't do a lot with that volley, but coming forward and starting to play more to win.
Let. Mr. Hewitt challenging the call on the left near sideline. The ball was called in. Well done.
Oh,
Not up. Fifteen, 13.
So for some reason, there's not a lot of wind and obviously elements in this covered court, but it's the end that Copil serving that he's having trouble. He was down break point early, lost his serve at this end the last time he served. Hewitt pressuring again.
30 all.
it's a great response. 220 k's an hour there. You can see in the back corner the serve that doesn't always register particularly quickly. Serve out wide. It's a big response.
The loose one on the forehand.
30, 14.
Hewitt and Copil's speed comparison. It's quite a difference, and also a height comparison. You can see how much higher the ball of Copil bounces and how much more quickly it gets to the opponent.
Oh, he's given it away, Copil. So Hewitt will serve for the first set. He leads 5-4.
Hewitt leads by 5 against the 4. Time. Thank you.
Hewitt serving for the first set here. For the last 5 or 6 minutes, we've seen a reason why Marius Copil has been stuck at the ranking of about 147, just at the crucial stages of this set, giving away too many free points. Completely unforced errors.
He certainly came out all guns blazing, Copil, but he's almost blown himself out at the moment, it would seem.
Hewitt catches the Romanian with a sliding second serve into the forehand, and he's got 3 set points. And he's got it holds to love, and Hewitt takes the opening set in 36 minutes by 6 games to 4.
By 6 games to 4. Time. Second set.
Australia's Davis Cup captain Pat Rafter sitting up in the corporate suites there. Pat, doing your homework, keeping your eye on your lead charge.
Oh, mate, you've got to keep an eye on him. He looks at you, he finds you, and he zeroes in. Great lob. Yeah. You've got to be careful not to take your eye off him, because he's always looking at you.
What happens if you if you do take your eye off? Can you tell us?
I don't know.
You do know.
Yeah, it's just got to concentrate. It's got to keep focus on him and make sure that he knows that you are there for him.
Good depth off the backhand from Hewitt. What was your analysis of the first set, Pat?
Oh, it started off very dangerous. The guy came out serving pretty well, and Lleyton, I think, was a little bit nervous. Understandably, you know, he knows he should be beating this guy, but he's dangerous and he's come out swinging. He's hit the ball hard, and first few games everything went in, and it's very difficult for Lleyton to know how to play this guy. But he has done it smart. He has tried to make him play as much as he could, and eventually this guy, as you said, has lived up to his 147 ranking.
How do you feel that Lleyton might progress this year? I mean, been a tough couple of years for him, but the last 12 months he's just ever so slowly seems to be creeping back up to a level week in, week out that we're used to seeing.
40.
Yeah, I agree. He stayed fit last year. That's the first time he stayed fit for a long time. And as you said, his game has improved. And where you would have thought he may have lost this sort of match, I feel very confident in him winning it this year. And I expect him to have a really good year. You know, he played really well against Kokonakis. I like the way he played and hit through the court, and Kokonakis found it very difficult to get into the play.
So, Pat, speaking of that match Lleyton had with Thanasi Kokonakis, you must be impressed with Kokonakis as a future representative.
Yeah, mate, he's great. He's very exciting, great attitude, great kid. And he's certainly the future of Australian tennis. It's very exciting to have him and Kyrgios around right now, and just gives a bit of extra depth, especially when Lleyton's coming towards the end. It's going to be a real shame he can't keep going, but we need someone to fill those shoes, and I hope that one or two, you know, and also Bernard sort of fill those shoes.
It's not necessarily a bad thing for Bernard to have these couple chasing him now, is it?
Oh, I love it. You know, I think it pushed us when we had guys. I think we had 13 guys inside the top 196, and then we pushed 3 guys inside the top 10. And that's just a result of everyone putting pressure on each other, and I think it's a really good, healthy pressure.
After a battle, Marius Copil holds his opening serve. First game of the second set. We're chatting to Pat Rafter in his own arena. What's it like to drive in here, mate, and see your name plastered across the top of the stadium?
Yeah, it sort of stands out a little bit because you walk in, that's sort of your walkway in, and it's big blue lights sitting staring at you. I find it actually interesting when you hear the announcement in Pat Rafter Arena. It is weird. It's sort of really nice, but weird at the same time.
But one of the first years it was open, I think security stopped you from getting in, didn't they? Wasn't that an issue? You should have said, "That's me up there."
Yeah, I'm never going to use that line. Do you know who I am? No, that doesn't go down very well. So I just had to cop it on the chin and wait for someone to come and get me a pass.
Well, that's why the Australians love you, and also why you're so well loved.
Do you love me, Teddy?
There's been times where I've had a bit of trouble, but I got over it.
I think Lleyton, one of the big parts of his game also has been his serve. He struggled over the last few years with it. And I've just seen him in Davis Cup. He's starting to serve better. US Open, he served better. And I think he's served really effectively on these quick courts this week as well.
Just on that, do you think the conditions are considerably quicker this year, Pat?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I just hope a few other tournaments take this on as well. I think it's great to see different guys, you know, push the top guys. I think it's really healthy for the sport, and having quicker conditions will certainly have that. You know, we've seen Copil here. We've seen Grothy having a few wins. Just brings a bit more excitement to the game for me.
Well, we've seen a bit more of the style of tennis that you used to play, where guys can get forward and actually build pressure by using the net, passing shot, serve and volley.
Seeing a lot more of it. I think Herbert did it really well last night, and he's going to be a good future for the game as well. And we're seeing Lleyton sneak in a little bit. I was a bit surprised to see Lopez not do it as much as it. That was a great shot. I thought Lopez would have done a lot more of it against Lleyton.
40-15.
But it's really conducive to that style of play.
Do you think it helps Roger Federer potentially win another slam if things are quicker?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's excited about these conditions. Let's just hope Melbourne's like this as well.
Good tennis from Lleyton Hewitt. Comfortable service game and levels the second set at 1-all.
Lleyton Hewitt.
Pat, just with Davis Cup, obviously you've got to think about how Lleyton gets used. He's going to find it difficult to back up, so that comes into your consideration as to who his teammates are, I guess.
Yeah, I think in Hamburg, when we played the Germans, it was a real eye-opener for me, and he just can't play 3 matches anymore, so... We're really conscious of when Lleyton does play Davis Cup, that he's very important for him to play the doubles. I think he's one of the world's best doubles players, and we've got to get that tie, and whatever matchup he likes in the singles, we try and make that happen as well. So that's where we try and make that work and get Bernie a couple of matches there, and get someone like a Kyrgios, Kokkinakis, Marinko to play the other rubber.
Mate, how much have you enjoyed the stresses of Davis Cup? Has it changed the way you look at tennis?
Yeah, it has, Teddy. You know, I came in all guns blazing there for a little bit, and I've certainly had to revise how I see things, how I approach things. I did find it very tricky sitting on the court and talking to the guys. And actually, really now I don't say much. So the different personalities require different things, and starting to understand all the different guys and what they want on the side of the court.
So you can appreciate the battles that John Newcombe had when he was running the team that we were in.
Yeah, it did have his challenges. He had a couple of different personalities there as well to work with, and I remember playing 1 or 2 matches with Newcombe, and one match in particular in Boston, I just turned my back on him, and he couldn't get through to me at all. Yeah, so I was a bit of a moody bugger as well when I was playing, so he had to understand my moods and how it was all going, so I definitely understand how he's feeling. Oh, sorry, how he felt. It was a fair while ago now.
Well, Hewitt gets the break late, and Lleyton is through. Pat, thanks very much for talking to us. We'll be back after this break with Hewitt ahead, a set and 2-1.
Hewitt leads by 2 games to 1. Time.
Welcome back to the Brisbane International. Fantastic to have an intimate chat there with Pat Rafter. Watching Lleyton Hewitt, one of his Davis Cup charges. Hewitt in control here in the quarterfinal. Now up a set, a break, serving 2-1. Jeff, just crucially important now for Hewitt to keep the foot on the accelerator and not just steer the ball around and let Copil make the errors. He's still got to take it on, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think his mindset at the moment, he seems as if he's ready to do that. just perhaps,
13
as you
left.
mentioned earlier, a little fatigue coming into the body and the mind of Copil. He's had a long, tough week coming through qualifying and reaching this stage of the event, and he started to hit balls just a little bit late.
Well, the reason I raise that, because unless you're one of the very top players, it's not very often in your career where you're playing 5 or 6 matches in a week.
14 left.
At this stage, it's actually it's less than a week. It's generally you've got that 7-day period. He's played that many in a 6-day period. Nice point run for Hewitt, 9 consecutive, and he consolidates and leads 3-1.
Hewitt leads by 3 games to 1.
Well, it's a good approach shot, but it's again indicative of what we were saying. He's just late at impact now, Copil. And that just suggests fatigue. And if you're a little fatigued, Lleyton Hewitt's probably one of the worst players that you want to play against. He's going to make you run and work and earn every point.
Love 13.
Well, we're seeing a different player here now than we saw in the first 4 or 5 games. Just totally gone off the boil.
You're always going to be wary of a play like this now. They start teaming up a bit, can become dangerous, but I also get a sense it's a player who feels that he's had a pretty good week and not a bad result.
30 all.
Well, we are about to see his mentality here, aren't we? He's a little fatigued, no question about it, but is he going to be satisfied with his week, or does he want a little bit more? And we'll see more of his character in the next 20 minutes.
Copil challenging the call. On the right baseline, the ball was called out.
Oh, he's made it by the barest of margins.
I bet you Lleyton's looked at that mark, and that mark would look clearly wrong. Hawkeye comes to help Copil. So he actually gets out of the trouble from Love 30 down. He holds, but Hewitt leads by a set and a break, 3-2 in the second.
Hewitt leads by 3 games to 2. 15 love.
Well, that's as good a point as we've seen in this match from both players. Hewitt again always loving the target.
13 love.
And applause from Marius Copil. That was an excellent point.
Love.
Second serve ace from Lleyton Hewitt. And a love game.
Game Hewitt.
4-2.
Ball changer, please, on your balls. Hewitt leads by 4 against the 2.
Gianluca Mascarelli in the chair, keeping control of everything that he needs to keep control of. The ball changes. That's what we've got right now. New balls. So Todd, what are you liking about the matchup of Hewitt should he get through here and number 2 seed Nishikori?
Well, I was just looking at the head-to-head. They've only played once. That was at Wimbledon a few years ago. Nishikori, though, has picked up a lot of experience and a far more solid player, a much heavier player off the ground than he was back then.
Second service.
They play similar. They play similar. Perhaps at this stage, Nishikori just with the slightly bigger forehand.
15 all.
I actually expect that match will be quite a tough, long match because their game styles are based around the same principles. Great shot. Great anticipation and then the ability to still control the ball at full stretch on this two-fisted backhand.
15-13.
Yeah, that's a gem, and it's the way all good players are playing these days. The open stance when pushed wide, balance, don't get pushed further out of court. Beautiful control. It's quick again, 224 kilometres an hour. It's a weapon.
From the reaction, he really wants to get this put away.
40-30.
And it's important for him as well in this part of his career. He has to do a fair bit of work every match, and if he can get through in straight sets, he saves a lot more energy for future rounds.
That's a wrong shot selection. Tough ball to hit a clean winner off. It's interesting in the second half of Hewitt's career how much harder it's been for him to finish matches off. When he was in the first half, he won a lot of easy matches. Particularly in the slams when he was making the finals and winning a couple. That's he managed to get quick matches early in the tournament. And that, again, is a poor shot selection. And Jeff, if you're going to go deep into slams and potentially win them, you have to have one or two easy matches in the men's game, because otherwise physically you just wear out come the semis and finals.
And I think that's an issue for young Bernard Tomic as well. The way Bernard plays, he doesn't often win quickly.
Top Lleyton Hewitt, and a game away from a place in the semi-finals of the Brisbane International. He leads a set and 5-2.
Hewitt leads by 5 games to 2. Time. Thank you.
Trademark fist pump come on from Lleyton Hewitt, serving for a place in the semis.
Love 14. 15-all.
Was a great shot there when Hewitt got the double break and we saw the come on with the fist pump, and you'll notice that that's the logo of his own clothing line now. It's got the come on, and that little swoosh is when that fist comes up to the forehead. Oh, unlucky there. Had everything covered other than the let cord going over the racket head. You can look here, he was covering the line. Hewitt, I think he could have got there. Uh-oh.
He does really well here, doesn't he, to flick it back.
Let for service.
Swinging from the hip now, the Romanian.
30-14.
Yeah, when you've got nothing to lose and you've got some weapons, use them. And he's been able to give himself a break-back point here. He's always dangerous when the situation arises.
What a way to save it. Fifth ace.
I think it's fair to say it's not his favourite serve either, that one wide to the backhand. Hewitt, he likes to go down the centre tee more often than not when really stressed.
Well, from break point down to match point up for Lleyton Hewitt.
Let for service.
To the semi-finals.
Straight sets for Hewitt. Impressive. 6-4, 6-2 in just over an hour.